Episode 2, here we are. Fanspective TV, Kilo Sports TV, Delroy Scott. Let's do it. So yeah, man, let's just start straight off, man. Yo, Delroy, you were right. Crawford in 12,
Yeah,
masterclass, amazing performance. He looked very comfortable out there. Zero intimidation, but career-wise, we've never seen that from him in terms of being intimidated at all. He's consistently dominant. I think dominated the fight.
yeah.
1 through 12. We could argue about round. I think round 5 maybe where
Five.
Canelo may have had that. First round, I think they were just feeling each other out, but every other round, it was obvious that Crawford was definitely the better technician, superior fighter, kept his distance and arm length, consistent, moved when he had to, moved forward when he had to, fought off the ropes when he had to. Excellent performance, but this is not my area, not my expertise. So, I'll, Kilo, what are your earliest thoughts as the one who claimed that Canelo would knock him out?
Yeah, so my first thing I want to say was I stand completely corrected. I have no shame in saying I was wrong. Bud Crawford definitely proved me wrong and a bunch of other folks wrong for sure. I think what really impressed me the most was his ability to use his reach. I think it's kind of funny that never crossed my mind even one time. I thought that he was going to be too small and that wouldn't even be a factor. So I never really considered it. So when the fight started and it showed the tail of the tape, their height, weight, whatever, I was like, dang, he's 75 inches. He's like
I
five
had
more
that
inches
reaction,
I was
75 to
like,
Canelo's 74. So I was like, wait,
yeah. I was
so
like, this is kind of crazy.
Yep.
Because of that 5 inch difference, Canelo could barely even get inside. And then also Crawford was like sitting down his punches too to make Canelo like kind of think twice before trying to cut the ring off or walk him down. So either way, I think it was a masterclass performance. But the question in my mind now is like, does Bud really campaign at 168 or does he retire? Like this,
Oh
like
no, no, don't worry. We're gonna
you know
get to
what
what
I'm
happens
saying?
next. But for now, let's focus on the fight and let's do a quick breakdown. All right, Delroy. You were very confident going in. Your
Yep.
earliest comments had the biggest reaction in our last pod. You said Crawford in 12, but you said let's quote or let's paraphrase. You said Canelo can get got. Let me ask you this: did he get got?
Yes.
Define that for me.
Masterclass 1 through 12. Like I mentioned before, Terrence never he never wavered throughout the entire fight.
Not at all.
You know, kept his distance. I think, his range and the ability to keep him at distance with the jab worked out perfectly. His defense, man. I mean, rolling off a lot of Canelo shots inside. He did, a lot of folks said he'd run throughout the entire fight. He didn't. He stayed in the box, was able to handle exchanges well. And I think going into the fight, a lot of people said, man, the weight differential.
Mm,
Crawford gained, I think, 15, 16 pounds
yeah.
and wore it well. Like he looked
Very well.
very comfortable
Felt
throughout the
natural. Yeah.
entire fight. Felt natural, and also looked stronger throughout the fight. I think a lot of people was just wrong, and that's okay to be wrong. But I mean, like going into the fight, I thought, yeah, sure, there might be a little bit of a weight differential. Who knows how he'll react to the gain? But he looked stronger throughout the fight, man. And I mean, I would say he won 11 out of 12 rounds, which to me, I think was I didn't expect that, but I mean, just rolled him, man. Just rolled him. I mean, and after the fight, Canelo mentioned like best fighter he's ever fought. And I mean, and for him to say that and been in the ring with Floyd, who is globally known as the best ever or one of the best ever. I mean, that's Crawford's top five in my opinion, man. We'll talk about that later, but he's definitely in my top five ever for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so a couple of things in terms of strategy, and Kilo, this is your department, so correct me if I'm wrong. So it seemed like Canelo was trying to set up Crawford for that right hook where when you're shifting, when Crawford is shifting to his left, he anticipates where you're gonna be. He doesn't swing at you; he swings to
Hmm.
where you're gonna end up at.
Yep.
And Crawford had that left arm up the entire fight, knowing that. Did you
Philly
notice that?
shell.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Crawford's game plan was, the box,
Yeah,
and Canelo came in to rumble.
yeah.
And one of the glaring stats that I saw from the
The jab,
punch stats
the
was that
jab.
Canelo's jab. I think he had maybe like 7 or 8 jabs
Rarely
in the
jab.
entire fight.
Rarely
Right,
jab. Yeah.
and as we all know, the jab is how you set up your offense and also set up your defense because that jab is what keeps the other fighter honest, right?
Yep.
So if I'm not going to use my jab at all, that means that I'm thinking that I'm going to walk through every punch you throw and just beat you down. But that clearly did not work. So to see Canelo not adjust after maybe just say like round 3, not adjust, and then still look to try to catch him with a punch, it's like, yo, dude, like this is now where you show wrinkles into your game. And for me, it was a big letdown, of course, obviously. But then it also was like, damn, maybe Canelo is really like on the decline now. Like where's his game at in regards to making adjustments on the fly and being more of a technician now that he's getting into his older age, like kind of like how Crawford is.
Now let me ask you this: do you think? Well, let me ask you historically: is Canelo known for those in-fight adjustments, and does he use a jab? Is he using it less so or more so than before? Let the audience know like what does Canelo traditionally do compared to this fight, and where did he deviate?
Can I answer that first? I would say, respectfully, he's never fought a fighter as good and as skilled as Crawford. And you can tell after round 1. He was shocked to see his defensive skill, his pinpoint precision when it comes to jab, countering. He's never seen that in the ring before. And after round 1, I said it. I literally said it to my boy Larry, my boy K-Mac. I said, yo, he's fucked up. Because he's never seen somebody that has the defensive skill and that has the countering skill that Terrence Crawford has. And it was a wrap after that.
I don't know if we should over-exaggerate, because then you're saying that Crawford is a better defensive boxer than Floyd, which I don't believe that to be true. I mean, Floyd to me is the best, defensive boxer, if that's the appropriate term, ever. And if you go back and watch the Canelo fight, Canelo couldn't even touch him. Like literally couldn't touch Floyd. So let's not do the ever thing.
At a different weight. And yeah. I'm basing it off of what Canelo said after the fight. I didn't say it. Canelo said it.
Yeah, but I mean,
he just
Canelo.
got
But the thing is, Canelo has to say it, right?
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Why does he have to say he's the best ever?
To justify losing. In his position.
No way.
His position in the sport. Hold on. With his position in the sport and as the face of the sport, he has to give the utmost accolades to who he just lost to. You see what I'm saying? Like if he said
he lost to Floyd
early in his career, he was very early, young. Yeah,
100%.
Fought nobody yet. He was like 6, 7, 8 in. Kilo, I'll let you step in. I could make.
No. I mean, when okay, if we're being honest, when Canelo had fought Floyd, he was young. But he still had like 42 fights by that point.
Yeah.
42.
42.
How many fights?
By that point,
he started fighting when he was 15.
As a pro?
As a pro at 14, 15.
Yeah, 14, 15, yeah.
So this is like year 22, year 21 for him as a professional. But I mean, I wouldn't go as far as say that.
I just don't want us to exaggerate and say Crawford is a better, defensive boxer than Floyd, because I'll make him.
Let me get on record and say, I didn't say it. The guy that just got his ass whipped said it. So, by all means, man, like
fair enough.
I didn't say it. I'm just repeating what Canelo said.
I mean,
a masterclass, bro. Masterclass.
I would say it's very close between Floyd and Crawford, but I would say the difference is that as Crawford has gotten older, he's becoming more offensive with his defense. If that makes sense. Whereas like Floyd is being defensive to evade and get out of situations, whereas Crawford is catching it and throwing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like catching it and throwing it, because that's a different kind of wrinkle. It gives someone like a Canelo like, damn, I've never seen this before, right? I mean, we're being honest. I think he's lost to 3 guys that are all-time greats, right? Bud, Floyd, Bivol, and the common thing between all 3 of them is that they're all master boxers. So it comes to show that Canelo being flat-footed and not really coming in with wrinkles in his game, he gets exposed, but at the highest level that he's being exposed at. I think Canelo against anyone else will walk through punches, win comfortably. But I think at that high level, there's guys that bring a different kind of element to the game that he hasn't really been able to, get past. So hey, I mean, overall, I don't want to discredit Bud at all. But deserves all the credit. Like I said before, I stand corrected. Yep. But we have to talk about what happens next. Because the reality is, in my opinion, the reality is people can say when Bud only has 2 elite fights on his resume. Spence, Canelo. Spence after a car accident, Canelo year 20. As you all saw,
man.
Why
I'm
we
just
doing
saying.
Man.
I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm just saying,
on,
Canelo. This was a perfect storm. Canelo, you all can tell me. Was that the best Canelo that we saw in the ring? Hell no.
No.
It could have
Not at
been.
all. Not at
But,
all.
but the reality is, the best Canelo we ever saw was 10 years ago.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I asked, like, what happens
But
next with Crawford?
so
So you're saying that attrition is due to age?
can't
I
be.
think
Not in
it's
this
a
argument.
combo of both.
Yeah, but the
No.
thing is, Bud is older than Canelo, right?
Crawford's older, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Crawford's
So
37.
I don't get it.
But whoa. But Canelo has 30 more fights than Bud has,
Where
and he has way more fights against higher level dudes than Bud has, and he's been more active than Bud.
Kilo, not Bud's fault. Not Bud's fault at all. Bro, but look at the roster Bud has as far as the fights he selected and wanted versus the fights he actually got. He been calling motherfuckers out. But look, go back and look at the YouTube videos, the Ringside magazine or articles rather. Bud calls guys out, bro. He just doesn't get the fights. He never got the fights. That was the biggest problem. And you can charge him for it. Like, damn man, like I wish he would have fought X or Y or Z. I'm sure he tried. It wasn't for ducking. Like he wanted the smoke with everybody.
Yeah.
He just didn't get it.
I don't
He
think
just
he's
didn't
ducking
get
now.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
So
I think that's a good point because in Floyd's career, it was widely acknowledged that look, he's ducking some people, right, or not fighting them on time. Bud never
he ducked?
ducked anybody, right?
Who he ducked?
They said he was ducking Pacquiao for years.
That's cap.
That's
big
cap?
time
That-
That's cap.
Big time.
that
That
Pacquiao fight should have happened years ago.
I mean, it's.
I feel like the Pacquiao fight happened 4 years too late.
I mean, we can go through history and see what happened in regards to like the timing of their fight schedules. My whole point with the Floyd ducking thing is hard to say a guy is ducking if he fought the most champions in history. It's hard to say that. It's hard to say I'm ducking anyone. I fought the most champions.
If you don't believe that timing matters, if you're somebody that doesn't believe that timing matters, I fought the fighter and I won, then absolutely, you're right. But if you believe that timing does matter and you ducked the guy until it was convenient for you to fight him, then obviously, that it matters to you.
So out of 50 let's say 49 fights, McGregor don't count to me.
Yep.
Out of 49 fights, 26 of them were champions, and you can only name one guy that wasn't on time.
I mean, but the thing is, that one was just.
Valid.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but that was like over almost half a decade, right? Like when Pacquiao had ascended to, I wouldn't say the face of the sport, but the most anticipated fight was Floyd Pacquiao for like 4.5, 5 years. When he would go on HBO, before Max Kellerman, I forgot his name, he used to host a show on HBO, they asked him like, yo, when are you going to fight Pacquiao? He's like, yo, we're talking. And then the fight didn't take place like 2 or 3 years later, The thing about boxing is fighting each other at in their prime does matter, right? Like that matters in prize fighting probably more than any other sport, which is why George Foreman coming back out of retirement was such a oh my God moment because his prime has been long gone, right?
Right.
Or Ali, getting away from the sport and then coming back, missed his entire prime and was able to beat George Foreman early on. You see what I'm saying? So both those scenarios just exemplify the fact that timing does matter in sport. We want to see everyone fight in their prime. Ali Frazier was a all-time classic for that very reason, So even if it's just one instance, in that 5 year period, that was when on the earlier side, that's when Floyd was supposed to fight Pacquiao. Never happened. It wasn't about getting the biggest gate or because Floyd was gonna get the bag, like we know that. The fight just never took place. So I agree with Delroy on that one. Again, I'm not an expert in the space, but I got to give him that one, sure.
Let's see. So Floyd and Pacquiao fought. What year is this? They fought in 2015.
15 should have been 2012.
Okay.
Should have been 2011.
In 2012, Pacquiao, at the end of 2012, he beat Juan Manuel Marquez.
Yeah.
Lost to Bradley, lost to Marquez.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that lost to Marquez. Him and Marquez.
And then during that time, he had the rematch with Bradley. He beat Chris Algieri, beat Brandon Rios. So during this time frame, when would he have fought Floyd? Until after those fights.
Well, Floyd was like semi-retired at that time, wasn't he?
Let me see. This is around 2012. Let's see. I know he went to jail for like 90
That
days
too.
during
Yeah,
that
that
time
too.
period, and
Yeah, that too. So yeah,
he wasn't around.
He was on vacation for a little bit.
I mean,
Can't fight if you're on vacation.
that's the fact. I mean, either way, I agree with with the premise that finding guys on time does matter, and
Yes.
I also really appreciate Turkey Al Sheikh and the whole Riyadh
Riyadh
season
group. Yep.
Yes,
group
for
for
sure.
coming together and
Yeah.
being willing to take losses up front in regards to spending money
Yeah.
and not returning, but still going with it and still trying to get the best matchups. Because now we have
Yeah.
a scenario where we could potentially get Stevenson and Tio at the top of next year. We have Benavidez versus Yard in November. We have Norman Jr. versus Haney in November. We have
Haney.
so many
Great
matchups coming
fight.
up now,
Great
and
fight.
this right here was the tip of the iceberg to really break through and get boxing back on top of TV, having it on Netflix, being free. This whole thing was a huge production, so
Huge,
I
yeah.
think now we'll start to see guys match up
Yep.
on time because they'll be able to get the money, and that there won't be many people in the way, like promoters, that will kind of deter fights from happening when it's supposed to. So
Yeah,
this right here
well-
is the turning point for that.
I definitely
Kilo,
think this paradigm shift the sport was waiting for
Yeah,
in promotion and management. Go ahead.
yeah.
Kilo, you can't duck anymore, right? We've
Like,
got
can't
we've got the financial backing now and the support to make any fight.
Facts.
So if I come to you now and say, hey man, like, yeah, it's Tom, and you say, oh well, woody do,
Yeah,
you can't.
cannot
you can't
duck.
do- You
Cannot
can't
duck.
duck me, dog. You can't duck me now.
Cannot duck,
So-
and then
so-
exactly,
Yeah, man.
exactly.
Yeah, you can't
No
do
one
it.
can duck anymore.
Yep.
And as a boxing community, we have to hold fighters more accountable when they do duck. Like when dudes duck and they fight trash cans, we cannot support those fights. We can't because
Yeah, I
we have to show like we want to see the best fights.
Yeah, and the level of competition is going to elevate. And the thing is, the one thing that I actually like, my biggest takeaway personally is like, it's okay to lose, bruh. Like it's
Yeah.
it's okay. Like stop chasing that 42-0, 45-0. Like y'all ain't Floyd. He popularized that, but like yo, fighters lose, bro. It happens, And hopefully we hope it's a close loss. Like we talk about Pacquiao Marquez all the time. Those were wars, bro. I don't care who
Right.
won or lost. I just saw great boxing. Two fighters going at it. So with this new promotion, call it structure or framework that they have, I think the sport is starting to get in a good place, and it's starting to gain the audience's attention away from some of the exhibits or exhibitions that
Exhibition.
exhibitions. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. I guess that was a stopgap or just kind of like just to hold people over. But like that got to go away, bro. I don't want to see Jake Paul. I
They
don't
gotta
wanna
go.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
no
know.
one like being an active champion and fighting an exhibition against a YouTuber is disgusting work. Disgusting.
100%.
Because now it's like I said in first episode, what are you going there and get hurt? Like
That's
what are you going there? And because Jake Paul is 6'1", 200 pounds
No,
plus.
he's a
He
big
is.
boy for sure. But there I'm gonna ask you that because he's fighting Tank. I'm sure that it's scripted and they have clauses and the things such as that. But what if
Yes.
Tank gets his face caved in?
Come on, man. And now
agree.
Tank ain't the same no more.
And
And
now
now
he ain't
Tank
the
fights Shakur and loses like we all thought he would. But then now it's the asterisk there.
Yeah, let's
Or
go
Tank
ahead.
fights Tio.
Let's-
or Haney.
Relax. I don't think Tank's losing that fight, big dog.
It ain't about
I
losing.
tell you.
It ain't about
I
losing.
tell people.
It ain't about losing.
At all.
It ain't about
At
losing. So
all.
let me tell you this. Let me tell you
I'm
this.
talking about Shakur. I'm talking about Shakur, Frank. He said Shakur Tank knocking his head off, baby.
No way.
He's
Possible.
gone.
Impossible.
He's gone. He gone.
Talk about skills. Shakur might be the most skilled boxer pound for pound today.
He ain't fought Tank.
And who had Tank for?
Yeah, Tank got some fights, man. Frank Martin,
Frank Martin came in today. No. Where's
Yeah. At the crib. He at the crib, man.
I'm just saying, man?
Tank got to boost his resume. I agree 100%, man.
Nah,
I mean, I feel
Tank
like
is the top.
the thing about boxing and prize fighting, like, how many elite tier 1 fighters do you fight throughout your career, right? Now you got to fight across the spectrum, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, because the thing is, a professional boxer fights how many times a year? Twice, maybe.
At the top level, yeah. Top level, you fight like once, twice a year.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's only so many boxers in that space. I don't know depending on the weight class too, I guess. But like, how many boxers are in that relative weight class, and how many times you have to fight? You can't just only fight once a year, and fighting the next best fighter. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you could tier up, and maybe we should do this actually, is get the entire group of fighters and not say ranking, but put them in different tiers, and see where they at.
That's fair.
And figure out, are you fighting someone that's at peer level, Or are you fighting above, something like, are you the underdog in your fight, or are you just always going to be dominating and just fighting somebody that you have no business fighting? You're just doing it for a check,
Yeah.
you know?
That's fair.
So
Well,
we
that's the thing about Tank too. I love him to death, man. One of my favorite fighters to watch. 90+% knockout rate, which
yeah.
is why I
He's
watch. He
exciting.
clearing motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's
But
exciting.
excuse my language. But realistically speaking, he's not fighting the best of the best because he's taking the Floyd Mayweather route. He wants the money. He'd rather have the fame instead of the purity and the essence of the sweet science. And that's tough, man. That's tough for viewers like myself and fans like myself because I want to see him go against Shakur. He should have been fought Haney. You know what I mean? Like those fights should have already happened. And they don't because either the money situation or it's not a easy knockout to keep my ratio up and to keep my fans happy.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
as a casual boxing fan, I wish I understood more, but I just don't understand the landscape, Like,
yeah,
I don't understand how many boxers are there at a certain level. Not just a weight class, but in terms of like ability. Because the thing
Yeah.
is, if every boxer had similar, strengths and abilities, then there'll be more losses all around. But it's super lopsided. So I don't know what the landscape kind of looks like. So that's something that we need to
Yeah.
sort of,
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like I would say, before we got to this space with Turkey Al-Sheikh and everyone, the landscape was heavily dominated by your promotional group,
Okay.
right? So I think probably marginality says all the time where guys are like manufactured, right? Where you may have a dude that has legitimate talent,
yeah,
but as a promoter, I want to increase his lifespan
yeah,
longer so we can gain more money so then he
yes,
becomes more of an attraction than the competition with who he's fighting,
Interesting.
i.e. Tank Davis. Like, for example, Tank Davis here in New York sold out Barclay Arena and he fought Rolly Romero.
yep,
Come on, man. They went to Vegas, MGM, sold out the arena, and he fought Isaac Cruz. Come on, man. Went to Atlanta, State Farm Arena, act out, and fought Ryan Garcia. So, because of the promotional groups and people not want to share money or agree on terms, a lot of fights that he would have had didn't happen. So, a lot of guys that are on this, higher or peer group don't really reach. So, you might have guys that are up here, they're fighting dudes down here, but as fans, we just want to see our guy fight, right? So, now I think those things change. I think really it really started with Errol Spence and Crawford, because Crawford was at top rank on ESPN for like 8 years, and no one wanted to do business with Bob Arum.
Yeah.
And then once Bud got off of the contract with Bob, he took less money, went to PBC, and fought Spence. But Bud took a risk taking less money because he wanted to at least show the world who he was, which I think to me is worth it. Because at a certain point, how much money can you make? I mean,
because Bud
you know,
and Shakur were on the same. They were ESPN, right? They were
Yeah,
still
for a long time.
they were both for a while.
yeah.
I remember that.
I mean, Top Rank is not a bad. Top Rank is a really good company for like young up and coming fighters. We have Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis, Shane Foster, Robinson Cano. Who else? Oscar Valdez Jr. when he was coming up. So there's a lot of young guys that really do good with Top Rank. But after a certain level, when they start getting belts, it's hard to get the next belt because that belt is under PBC or under
Right.
Matchroom or under Queensbury Promotions in UK. So it becomes difficult to really make top guys come together.
Gotcha. You know what would be good? I think we need to sort of like outline this landscape for fans.
Yeah, we
Because
should.
I personally,
I agree.
I'm learning this in real time. I think it's an opportunity for us to kind of like structure this because everyone knows like NFL, you got 32 teams, and you kind of know what's going on. Even if you're not really a huge fan of the sport, same thing with basketball. You have the 30 teams. You know the names of the teams, and you understand the landscape of the sport. With boxing, it's so many weight classes, so many belts, so the promotion companies. So we got to kind of structure what's happening and sort of identify that shift in the space because from what I'm hearing is that it was too perhaps bifurcated, right? It's just too split up, and now they're starting to reconsolidate with the Riyadh group. I don't know the full name right now, but in the near future it's going to be far more streamlined, is what it seems.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully, yeah.
so probably before the next fight, we should kind of outline. So like a casual fan could just look and say, "Hey, I know what's going on. I know the boxers I should expect to be fighting each other. It's not just like a surprise,
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
that being said, in the interim, we're going to have potentially Mayweather Tyson as an exhibition, and I only bring that up for one reason. After the success of this fight and the paradigm shift we're seeing, do you think they as former prize fighters themselves, they get it, right? Do you see them stepping back, or do you see them continuing this thing just for the money grab?
They might do this until they're done.
Yeah.
You know, the money's gonna be there. Like people are gonna tune in. I'll tune in still.
Same.
I would say I'm not a casual fan, but because it's on, I'm gonna go see what's going on. Let me see this. Let me see the clown show. And that's all they want.
Yes,
Unfortunately,
copy that.
you know.
What did Pusha T say? Reality TV is mud wrestling. I think he said that in the track. Bro, that's what this is, man. I mean, for anybody that knows boxing, you understand that there's litigation, contracts behind this entire ordeal saying you can't do X or Y or Z. And, it's all purely entertainment. But you get out there, throw a couple jabs, maybe land a couple punches, and go to your corner. So, I mean, it's a money grab, man. Like Tyson probably need the money. Floyd always want the money, right? So
I mean,
it's where we are, man. It's where we are.
I mean, we don't know that. I mean, Tyson turned down a $10 million opportunity a couple years ago. We're not getting into nobody's pockets.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we don't.
I don't know if he needs.
Yeah, we don't know. But at the end of the day, definitely a very successful fight. It happened in Vegas. Do you see this being more global though, and fights happening out in the Middle East, whether it's Saudi Arabia or Dubai?
Oh, yeah.
Do you see that more conform?
100%.
And what is your thoughts on just some of those international groups pouring funds into American sports and European sports? You've seen it happen with EPL and soccer. Poaching some of the best players in the sport, Ronaldo, Benzema on the soccer side. But even here in the States, they're starting to get involved with more American sports. So Kilo, I mean, you're worldwide with this. You understand it from a global perspective. Talk to us, bro.
Yeah. I mean, they've been fighting in Saudi Arabia first, right? So when Cricket came on the scene, he was pulling guys and bringing them to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and they're fighting there, right? Now the issue, and again, he had some really big matchups. He had Usyk and Tyson Fury versus Ngannou, Fury versus AJ. He had all of the Bivol and Beterbiev twice. He had Stevenson against Padley, unfortunately. So he had a bunch of fights over there. Even had Canelo, and he had Bud Crawford fighting in LA. But the issue with fighting overseas is that the time difference becomes
is
too
crazy.
drastic, right? For example,
100%.
Canelo fought William Skull at 4 a.m. in Saudi so he could be on time here. And the fight was trash. I mean, absolute doo-doo.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're realizing, okay, let's bring it back to the States. Let's bring it back to Vegas where that's like the fight capital of America now. Bring it back to Vegas, bring it back to the homeland.
It's always been the fight capital. Vegas has always been it. Sure.
Yeah, always. So, I think they're moving away from that. I know the UK is also like another like fight capital in the world as well.
Right.
But going too far, east can definitely ruin some viewership. Kind of like a guy, Inoue, the boxer from Japan.
I'm not.
One of the best boxers, in the world. Right? He fought in the U.S. maybe twice in like the last 8 years. He's been undefeated twice. He has almost the same resume as like a Bud Crawford, but no one knows.
Tell me that.
Because he's fighting 13 hours ahead of time. So it was like, who watches the fight? He fought the same night as Crawford and Canelo.
I actually didn't know he fought.
He won.
No, it makes sense. So yeah, I mean, definitely great insights. Definitely looking forward to what we have coming up next in the sport. I'll just go ahead and close this with rest in peace to Ricky Hatton. The boxing community lost him over the weekend, age 46. Remember his fight with Floyd. He was previously undefeated at the time, and then he fought Floyd, who was also undefeated at the time. So that was a very exciting fight, exciting finish. Floyd with a knockout in the 8th round, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think dating back to that time period, it was a comparison between Floyd and Pacquiao because they fought some of the same opponents. They both won, but the style in which they won was very different, right? I think Pacquiao knocked out Ricky Hatton in the 2nd round, in lightning fashion, and Floyd did the same, in the 8th round. I don't know which one happened first. I think Pacquiao may have done it first. Floyd may have done it first. Nonetheless, he was a fighter that was, at least for a period, a household name. It's a loss to the sport. So definitely RIP to Ricky, man. And we'll go ahead and close out with that. This is Fanspective TV. Thank y'all for joining us. See y'all next time.
Peace.